Okay, so after last week's amazing Raw, predominantly because of the crowd, this week's Raw tried to capitalize on some of it and seemed to fail on multiple levels. They made a big deal about all the Fandango'ing that was going on in social media. So they brought Fandango out, or Fandango. When they brought him out, they tried to get the crowd to kind of do it a little bit. And this week's crowd just appeared to really not want to do it. It was like it was this huge thing predominantly because that crowd was white hot. Then you try to do it with a crowd that's kind of lukewarm, and it fizzles horribly. Fandango tried to get the crowd into it a little bit by having them say his name. Since they failed at saying his name, so they have to go Fandango themselves. Just seemed kind of awkward, didn't quite really work out. A lot of this week really wasn't focused around wrestling. 3MB came out and they called out the Shield. Brock Lesnar came out and destroyed 3MB. Which makes sense. Did some absolutely brutal F5s to Heath Slater on the outside of the ring, bouncing his leg off of the barricade. Then Heyman came down and issued a challenge to Triple H. And he pushed this super sick, barbaric, rending flesh from bone sort of match. And it's a steel cage match with Lesnar and Triple H for Extreme Rules. Kind of meh. Ryback had a promo where he discussed why he attacked John Cena. It was pretty much because Cena helped him get a seat at the table, and then didn't really help him. So Ryback got attacked by the Shield consistently. John never helped him. When it came after the Royal Rumble, it was down to Ryback and Cena. Cena defeats Ryback. And at the WrestleMania, Ryback loses to Mark Henry. John Cena becomes champion. The idea of John Cena's at the top, Ryback's at the bottom, so they have one way to go. Ryback can only go up, Cena can only go down. Not a bad promo, you know. A bit kind of on the longer side, and they end it with Ryback rules. It didn't seem to work. Feed Me More would have been a better post for that. With the main event being John Cena calling out Ryback. When they did this, they booked it horribly. John Cena called out Ryback. Ryback showed out pretty early on. They accidentally cut to a camera in the back that showed the Shield. John talked and talked and talked and talked, and the Shield came out. This promo could have been about the same, but if halfway through it, the Shield could have come down, surrounded the ring. You hit Ryback's music, have Ryback stand at the top of the entrance ramp, have the Shield beat down John Cena, as opposed to Ryback in the ring with Cena being browbeaten by Cena, while Ryback's rocking a gator. You know, so he had a little bit showing. It just seemed kind of just awkward. So that was the majority of your promo work. Dolph Ziggler was going to take on Del Rio, but then Swagger attacked Del Rio, which then led to Swagger taking on Ziggler. Not a bad match, but these two guys have good chemistry. Swagger gets the roll-up off of kind of a reverse powerbomb onto the top ring rope, so to a roll-up. Not a bad match, leading to their match at Extreme Rules being a triple threat match. Okay, not bad. Sheamus and Orton teamed up to take on the Big Show. Okay, not bad. Not bad. They lost, but not a bad match. Kofi Kingston, for some strange reason, took on Wade Barrett for the title. No, he took on Cesaro. Sorry. Took on Cesaro for the title. You know, Kofi had recently fought with Wade Barrett for a while, and then Kofi defeated Cesaro for the U.S. belt. Didn't make any sense. Then later on that night, R-Truth took on Wade Barrett and beat him, not for the title. These two matches seemed entirely random, because pretty much Kofi in pay-per-views has been fighting Dolph Ziggler. And Wade Barrett had recently had a feud with The Miz. for the life of me, I had no idea what was going on with some of these things. And Cesaro's yodeling gimmick is horrible. It's almost as bad as hiring El Generico and then having him not be a French-Canadian Mexican luchador. The Primetime Players took on Team Hell in a Cell, and they lost. Still trying to figure out what they're trying to do with the Primetime Players and the tag division as a whole. It just seems just to kind of be random. Team Rhodes Scholars defeated the team of Santino Marella and the Great Khali. I'll leave any matches out. This was a very, very lackluster Raw. You know, trying to build off what they did last week, where you had the crowd white hot for Ryback and for Fandango, and this week it just seemed just kind of, oh yeah, Caitlyn took on one of the Bellas. What made this match actually work was the Twitter crawl at the bottom, and the fact that Bradshaw and Jerry the King Lawler actually were discussing how one of the twins is bigger than the other. Actually, one of the twins has bigger twins than the other. But they still tried twin magic, even though they currently are no longer identical. So the other, the less enhanced one, pinned Caitlyn in a match. I think it's been the first Divas match on Raw in like 6 weeks. And it was pretty bad. This week's Raw was very, very, very lackluster. I mean, I know they're trying to build to Extreme Rules, but just from the Fandango piece fizzling out to John Cena talking to Ryback for a very long time. CM Punk actually broke his silence, and he did a good job in discussing, you know, how he was champion for a long time. He wanted the next big challenge, which was The Rock. Where do you go after The Rock? That's when he decided that he wanted to take on The Undertaker. And then he just couldn't talk anymore and left the ring. It was nice, it was powerful, but it almost feels like they ran out of time and we're like, alright, Punk, you gotta wrap this up. And next week they're in the UK. So with them being in the UK next week, it should be almost pay-per-view style matches. One of the matches already signed for next week. It's Undertaker, Kane, and Daniel Bryan versus The Shield. That should be a fantastic turnaround from this week.